All right, welcome back to The Devil in Detail, the Grendel Reread Podcast. I'm Eli.
I'm Ben. It's our 87th episode. We're doing Grendel 36, the third chapter of Devil's Reign. Kamiko, 1989. Wowie, wow. Nice purple cover.
Devil's Reign. I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great.
Not to be confused with my favorite storyline when I was a boy, The Region of Superman.
Because you misread The Region of Superman.
I was publicly corrected by my clerk, who thought I was an 11-year-old idiot.
Do you have The Region of Superman? What are you talking about?
What are you
Get out of here, kid.
Never
you
come to my store again, you illiterate putz. What'd you do this week, Eli? It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, I just got back from this amazing trip back east to see the fam, to celebrate Passover. I was in my hometown of Cumberland, Maryland for a week, in which I did some super fun digging. I found a vintage store and I dug there a little bit, found some great comics. I spent some time with my parents. We're in Western Maryland. There's a lot of woods there. We did a lot of hiking. We rode the steam engine that makes its way through Cumberland. And then we went to New York City, where we were visiting with family, as well as going out to New Jersey to have our family Passover, of which there was like 7 kids under the age of 5. And it was like insane. And my uncle was like, got sick. We didn't even finish the service. Shay got like blackout drunk. They started serving whiskey at like 2 p.m. I had my first whiskey at like 2 p.m. and it was wild, man. It was crazy. I wrestled like 5 kids at once, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. So the trip to New York was amazing. We went to Dad and I went to Metropolis Collectibles, where I saw one of the absolute most amazing collection of comics I've ever seen. And right as we were going into my dad's guy's office, the dude sitting right outside had a Batman and the Monster Men Matt Wagner page right up on the wall. And I was like, hey, Matt Wagner page, I like to see that. And he's like, I like to be able to work and like look up at Matt Wagner page. And I was like, dude, that's amazing. Guess what? I do the official Grendel podcast. You should check us out, The Devil in Detail. And guess what? We talked for like 10 minutes about Grendel and Matt and The Devil in Detail. And so if you're out there, dude, give me a holler. Let's see, what's your name? I have it right here. Your name is Micah Spivak. Micah, what's up, dude? You have an amazing collection of original art on your comic art fans. It's freaking cool. Everyone from S. Clay Wilson to Crumb to Matt Wagner to Basil Wolverton, Steve Ditko, Dan Klaus, Charles Schultz, Dave Sim. Amazing, dude. So shout out Micah, our new listener. Hope you're having a great day and then you enjoy this podcast. Hey, and if you too want to get one of our free Grendel zines, leave a 5-star review for The Devil in Detail on iTunes. Follow us at The Devil in Detail on Instagram. And then give me an email. Eli at cosmiclionproductions.com, and I'll send you a free zine. All right, Micah, and everyone else. Ben, what you been up to, buddy?
Micah, you're getting a zine, by the way.
Yeah, I'm just going to send it to you. I'll send it to the office.
I'm good. We didn't get to meet up in New York City because my whole family had COVID.
Yeah, it sucks, man. I'm pissed.
I'm pissed. I'm pissed at the germs.
We're pissed.
It was my second dose of Moderna was 10 times worse than having COVID.
Oof, dang, dude. I'm sorry to hear that.
15 times worse.
Dang.
So, no, it's fine. That was months ago, and I was fine. It was like having a cold. Let's see. I don't know. What did I do? Bounce House Bazaar, Tony McMillan's really cool anthology. I have a story in this guy. You can find it at tonymcmillan.com. Get out your 3D glasses, because my story is partially in 3D. Wowie, wow. One of my favorite easy gimmicks to do. Thank you, Eli. I am 11 pages into penciling Oh Fuck Why number 3. I finished my semester of teaching today.
Oh, nice.
And I'm excited to Grendel it up with you. Let's
do it. All right. Take us to the theme. Fantasy Laser D.
Yeah. Vivat Grendel. It's like the devil is my best friend. On the roads with the pen to the fork end, or till time end. Like Orion, Jupiter, my kin, bloodline private. We control the whole shit. The wolf won't beef, then we feast off the rip. Behold the devil in detail. Behold the devil in detail.
Alrighty, thanks again to Mannys and Laserdisc. So today we want to dedicate this episode to a member of the Kamiko family. Ben, why don't you tell us a little bit about him?
We found out today through Gary Javincio's Kamiko group that Dennis Lasorda, co-founder, silent partner, older brother of Phil, passed away sadly. And let's see, we were reminded that Dennis operated the Norristown physical therapy business that the Kamiko offices shared space with, and Mr. Javincio reminded us that at its height, Kamiko was selling 300K copies thanks to the silent partner efforts of Dennis. So good on you, Kamiko fellas. Good on you, Lasorda brothers.
Cheers.
And thanks to everyone that worked so hard to entertain us all these years later. We appreciate you.
Cheers. The original Kamiko team.
Let's drink until our hearts stop. Okay. All right. So what do we got?
Right.
36. Beautiful
36.
purple cover. Very nice.
Another wraparound by Tim Sale, 1989. A depiction of the second part of the story. Oh, no. Wait a second.
Yeah. It is.
Okay,
It is a moment that we don't quite see, or a moment where the camera is shifted a little bit, something like that. Yeah.
But it's interesting because this guy interacts with Orion and with Pellon in this issue.
Oh, yes. This is Diamond Diego.
Diamond Diego, yeah.
SCAUR's greatest cocaine man.
And they're moving into Cracaine now.
Woo! Devil in intent, as in intent to distribute. Like this is the coke issue. Yeah, crack.
Yeah, it is. And so really with this issue too, Orion is continuing his reign, his rise to power, and he's a little bit kind of like give or take with UNow's power. Like he wants it, but if he tries too hard, he's not going to get it. It's like you're trying to get that girl in elementary school, and if you're too nice, she'll hate you. But if you slap her in the face, you might. No, that's a little too far. Not slap her. You do the negging or whatever they call it, negging.
You have to neg just right, so they say. It is clear that if UNow is not the one to unite the world, someone else will.
Right. Could be Japan, and he doesn't want that.
There's So last issue was all about acquiring Australia. This one is all about acquiring SCAUR and sort of the machination, South America, the machinations that it takes to make that happen.
And
Eli,
which will good.
We've been so story heavy that we haven't talked about design, and we haven't talked about Tim Sale. So we're trying to make a conscious effort this issue to really, really talk up Tim.
Right. And the design aesthetic of this book, again, is that of no other book I've ever seen. Like so much negative space, white spaces, these like line dividers. Even if you notice on our YouTube covers, I switched up the whole design of those to reflect the feel of this first part of the book because it's so striking. It's so different. It's really, really cool.
Orion gives a speech to Orion gives a speech to his people. This is the time for perfecting our machine, gentlemen. Time and fate alone know when we shall be forced into operating it. We shall not be found rusty and unoiled. These are not the days for losing, my friends. And they say, Vivat
Grendel. The first appearance.
Yeah.
First appearance of Vivat Grendel.
What he's doing is having his guys in North America and in Australia playing elaborate war games so that they're ready for any situation. The text also says that nuclear proliferation is one part of the equation, but telecommunications, as we've seen, has changed everything.
Huge.
That's the real weapon.
And they control. It's kind of like split between them and Japan. And the UNow is what is really like controlling the nations through these machinations of entertainment and telecommunications.
The big panel here of the glass building. Oh, chef's kiss, Bernie. Oh, yeah. So good.
I love how it's like broken up by the words and stuff like that too. this billowing UNow flag too is another thing that we'll see a few times this issue.
For sure.
Cool. All right, on the next page, we continue and we start to see a little bit of Manny and Orion. They're talking, they're trying to figure out what we're doing here. Eyes move towards SCAUR. Eyes really move now to work adding SCAUR. This is me trying to read the notes, guys. I can't even do it. Adding SCAUR to UNow. And like this has to be done carefully. And so it almost seems like Japan is like trying to make moves themselves by like lowering these export taxes on their media, which I feel like it's kind of like, the manga scene was like really blowing up in the 80s and stuff, maybe when this was being written. So it's like it's the manga and it's all that type of entertainment that is like, continue to grow and become huger and huger.
Orion senses that the move is an economic carrot and not a military stick. And that
that's a quote. That's a direct quote.
No, that's right out of here, baby.
Ooh, dang, man. Yeah, write that down.
Well, okay. Anyway, they have this big plan. Manny and Orion are going to go down to SCAUR.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry. They're not going to go down to SCAUR. They're going to go back to Dakota, and they're going to have another meeting on the top of Elvis's head.
Right. They set up a very secret meeting.
It's the first time. Yeah, it's the first time this dude has ever left South America. So it's a really big deal.
Right. And we see on the next page, we're introduced to, as you're saying, Senor San Esteban. Oh, what's his name? Diamond Diego San Esteban, who is not the president. They didn't go for like the leader or the president. They went for like this businessman who runs the cocaine, who owns like the coca fields and basically runs the nation through control of like, Cracaine addiction through different.
Dennis Lasorda of SCAUR, basically.
Wow,
he's the silent partner.
Exactly, and he's a keen intellect. At least he has good advisors because when he gets there, he has this colander on his head so that he can't have his mind read by Manny.
His Vince Clartho hat.
Yeah, you will be one of the many matriculates of the Kettrick supplicants. Many slugs and zools will know what it was to be drunk in the zool that day, I can tell you. Oh, that's a good quote. I can't remember it all.
The plan, I don't know if they lay it down on this page, but the plan is basically that they're going to use the cocaine supply, funnel it back into the bureaucracy of SCAUR. They're going to destabilize things in SCAUR so that SCAUR is going to beg UNow to
help them
pacify their situation. Basically.
Right. It's kind of like, you do this and then this happens and then this happens. But then, we find out there's all these other machinations underneath. And it's just, this is a really convoluted plan, but will it work? Yeah. And, I love this. Let's see, it's panel. When I'm saying panels, do you count the word panel too, or?
That's a really good question. We've been dealing with that in Oh Fuck Why, where we've literally got this where there's a gutter space that's going to be filled with text, and we weren't counting it.
You were not counting
it. We were not. We were only counting images that are present as panels. So which panel?
So panel 4 then of the hair and how he's like standing out on the like little swoop up, the mirth swoop up there,
And the shadows that the guys standing on top are casting, contrast nice and hard, contrasted against the fade going up. Eli, that's how you do shading. You contrast faded shadows with hard ones.
Another Sale Moreau symphony right there. So it's great. All right, so then we kind of learn a little bit more about Diamond Diego, about he runs the poppy fields, and he eventually like annexation and all this stuff. We learn all his little deets. And then they agree. They're like, all right, are you down? Are you going to help us? And he's like, see.
We're going to Peru.
We're going to Peru.
Oh, and his pronoun is L. Not he, but L.
L. Okay, that's right.
El Diego.
Oh, you mean like it for? Okay, yeah, you're right. In the word bubbles. Yeah, good call. I didn't notice that.
This next page is what's going on the home front.
Right. Okay. So we see Fadi there, and so they're back now, I guess. And Orion's like, "Yo, take care of it. I'm out of here. I gotta go see Bay." And so Sherry has kind of like stepped back as of late. she's with child, and it means the world to Orion. He is like so psyched.
Yeah.
This little baby who's slam dancing in her belly.
She's 51, and they have confidence that their ultimate power in modern science everything will be fine. And so, but just as a precaution, for the first time in her life, she's not doing anything but diet and exercise and not working.
Yep. She's feeling it, but she's still trying to stay involved. And when Orion tells her this plan of like, I'm gonna be working with this drug dealer and stuff, she's like, that's dangerous and I don't love it. But like once you reach this like high level of politics, you gotta kind of go balls to the wall. You gotta do it.
There's a comment here that he even found out the truth about Manny, which I guess is that Manny's a drug addict.
Where does it say that? It says out here.
Panel 4. The bottom of panel 4. I think what it does, it tells the reader that something, just be on the lookout for something with Manny, and that will pay off later on. I really enjoy the backgrounds in panels 4 and 5. I think what Bernie is doing is he's keeping that very wet, like glazing purple over pink. And then I think he's taking a dry Q-tip and lifting the top layer off.
Oh, wow. So it's all the same paint color. He's just lightening it by bringing out some.
Don't quote me, but I think it might be something like that.
All right. So on the next page, they continue to do their work, to continue these, as I'm going to keep saying, these machinations into getting SCAUR on their end. And they're going to start back up with these subliminal messages. I'm surprised they didn't try to use like a future slang. I put in the notes like a subs. The subs are like, what did I say? Liminals. Like, I'm just surprised.
Liminals.
I'm surprised they didn't try to use like a little. Did you get the liminals up?
The one they use is the giant Christ statue on Mount Corcovado, overlaid with the UNow flag. The time is now. The difference is you. Okay, great. Mm-hmm. Oh, then the other thing is that they're retreating. I think they've done this before in the past. This is very, I don't want to say redundant, but repetitious, that they're removing their border troops on SCAUR. And then they're taking, it's like 7,000 are staying on the border, and then 30,000 are retreating to go train doing war games, so that the Scourians see it as a show of weakness, because they only see the 7K that are left on the border.
That are right there, right? But then also they're planning this trip, like they're planning a trip down to SCAUR to really talk to, let's see, the Minister of Defense. Right? They want to meet up with this dude, this next guy. What's his name? Emilio.
Emilio, yeah. They have a puppet basically in mind.
Right. And so they want to start in play the game that they want to set in play to bring the cocaine guy up into power, and then also destabilize the current power.
Look at Bernie in that last panel with the reflection on the table.
Oh, my God.
Beautiful.
Oh, and it's Grendel. He's got Grendel eyes. I didn't see that before.
I'm looking for him, but I trust you.
Oh, it's there.
When you want to see Grendel eyes, you see Grendel eyes.
You're gonna see him. I guarantee you.
Now,
also these two, the panels 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which are I'm guessing topographical maps.
Yeah,
just cool, just interesting. Like, what kind of communication goes on between Bernie and Tim to make it to know what exactly is going on there.
Yeah, that's I think the red area is troop placement.
Oh, that makes sense. Righteous. All right, and so he has a video chat here with Diego. He's telling him it's going to be a matter of days. We're going to be there, and the plan's going to start. See you there.
Great. See you there. Then they go there. They're in Peru, and Diego doesn't let the Scourian troops or the Orion sword people into his compound.
Anyone in there?
I think that here's where they're talking about how drugs are an official item on SCAUR's gross national product, and it's their biggest product, and it's
their biggest export,
and it props up the rest of their economy. So they got to allow it.
Right. And it's not legal there, but they ignore it. But in UNow, drugs are legal and maintained by the government.
Right.
So it's interesting.
And
it's kind of,
I don't know if it's here, but later on they'll say that drug use is not popular in South America.
oh, right.
But they're gonna filter drugs. The drugs are gonna export into UNow West and then go back down the border,
Right.
and re-enter Scarian society.
Right. But then Diego thought he was doing a service by making sure that his local people could get only the finest of pow pow. And so it's a whole interesting thing. And they start their talks, and the first thing that Diego does is like, I want you guys to try it. I've got the finest pillows that you can possibly get, so check it out. And Orion's like, no, it's okay, and he doesn't expect fucking Hoover over here, fucking Manny, to be sucking it up like it's his job. And Manny goes deep. He goes deep.
I really like that Manny and Orion are wearing matching.
Yes. Is it like fatigues kind of? Yeah.
At first I thought it was maybe like dappled lighting, like on this patio that they're sitting on, and it's like, it's definitely not. They're just,
no, they're definitely
their
in
little
matching
uniform.
outfits. Yeah. And here it talks about how also as a result of like the drugs being so not legal but so prominent, 40% of the Scarian bureaucracy had become daily users, some even hourly. So then that just shows that the power that Diego had over all these people, that like he's really in charge, because everyone in the government is addicted, and he has the supply and they have the demand. And if he wants something and he pulls back his supply, then they'll do what they need.
Yes,
the government will do what he wants.
He's their greatest source of financial backing, educational, industrial expansion. That's me, baby. What above ground industries that exist already also feel the weight of my will. I shall have my say, indirect influence in these areas as well. He's the Grendel of South America.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
The cocaine cowboy, the cocaine devil. Cool. All right. So you were already mentioning there on the next page, and we continue to see Manny just kind of tooting it up like an old, like he's in band over here. And
this is where they lay out the craziest science fiction bit like in the entire series, which is that Manny is going to telepathically, subliminally encode the cocaine supply,
right?
So that
with subliminal messages,
so that it subliminally instructs everyone to be favorable to UNow.
Right. They're going to be spiking the punch, tempering the drug's effects to our own desires with no more harm than what's already there. Insane. Just okay. And so on the next page, we see them like enter this vault, the cocaine vault, and it's like, he's got pounds and pounds in these drawers, and you see Manny, like Zach Galifianakis in The Hangover with all the math problems coming by his face. Manny's like thinking all this shit. It's like, UNow, merger, togetherness, UNow, murder, togetherness, and then Ben, I'd like you to introduce panel 4 here. You seem to love it.
I think what they're doing in panel 4. I also like panel 3. I think panel 3, the text is an overlay.
Yeah.
Is another acetate that I don't know how they did it. Maybe it's in black, and then they tell them, well, just shoot it, YB or whatever it is. Yeah. So panel 4 is the cocaine, and it is like collaged with those words on it. It is such a wonderfully direct and simple and clear storytelling effect. It's the kind of thing that when you see the schmucks on YouTube, like calling, who waste their time reading Marvel books that they hate.
Right.
They would call this lazy, but really it's brilliant.
It's brilliant. Yeah. Who would have thought of this? Just great. Good on you, Matt.
So Diego, Manny is showing fatigue by the second vat. There's like 17 to go. And they pull him out every few hours to like give him coffee and drugs.
Right. He just does more blow, and then Oh no, I accidentally took the UNow blow. But he's like pushing himself. He's like, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it.
And he's completely spent at the end. I really love what Bernie does with the highlight on his head. I have no idea how he lightened that up.
I know. It looks almost like a stamp, like you would, dip a stamp in ink.
Oh, because it's distressed a little bit.
Right, yeah. Or something
I
you
think
would try to get with like on Photoshop, it's really well done.
I think it's just
Organic.
a lot of media finesse.
I think so too.
Because
Like laying paint down and then doppling it up.
It's
with
like
paper or
how
something.
it's like how JKS3 uses colored pencil, but it looks like airbrush.
Yeah.
Just like total finesse wizardry. I love it.
Yeah. So amazing.
Okay.
All right. So next page we're at with
they send Manny to a doctor. He's gonna be laid up for days.
He can't use his legs for a little while. We've been rubbing cocaine on them all night and it hasn't been doing anything.
Yeah.
But he'll make it. He's a strong dude. And so their new guest arrives, Emilio Vasquez San Maria Garcia. He's the Minister of State for Peru and a popular favorite for the Congressional General Assembly to be the next presidente.
No puppet. No puppet.
No pup. He looks like Matt Lizanowski's character, the Freak or whatever, doesn't he?
Or yeah, he looks like Jan Peterson's
yes,
Bill
that's
Nash character.
Yes, that's what I was thinking of. Bill Nash.
I really love panel 2, the way that Bernie puts like the table and the flowers and the lamp.
Oh, in the little background.
Really subtle. Ooh,
of a super complex and awesome. I mean, it's the same scene, right? It's the same landscape.
Yeah.
The room
just chopped up
Yeah.
by a panel. By a
Good
gutter.
shit, Tim.
All right, buenas noches, senor. I hope I am not too late. Oh, so he starts disgustingly doing Cracaine while they're eating. Yeah, no, we're just eating. No big
Yeah, he's like,
deal.
no, we're eating. You're doing Cracaine from another crazy contraption over here.
But they need to ingratiate him so that when they install him, just make him feel like he's going to be safe and protected.
Exactly.
And then once
Because
he's
they need
installed,
him.
it's all going to shit.
Right. He's like the center pin kind of thing. And this next panel 5 of Orion, he not only does it look almost as if he's kind of like rolling his eyes, but the muddy, like another symphony, another Sail Moreau symphony right there of the perfect color with that like look of annoyance
Disgust,
and right. Like I've got to do this, but and
I really like how all the Spanish guys get L. But there's a few just like they're all doing the Peruvians are doing drugs, and so there's a sound effect, no box, you see it, snort,
snort, yeah. Right. That I would feel like that would be like inverted but don't even need it because it is like in the background behind Orion's like feel. It's like, yep.
Cool. I think we've discussed that last block of text already, and we end with some Orion sword propaganda. Raised in need.
Raised indeed.
Cool.
All right, so then we're back outside and we're meeting again. And now that Manny's back, he's got his colander back on his head. He's feeling well enough to go, and they're getting ready to hop back in the jet and head back to where they said. Where's their home base now? Are they in Colorado again?
I
know
I think it's between it's like between Denver and South Dakota.
Okay.
I think that glass structure is where the Vatican was standing.
Yeah.
So they have this. So for the first time in several days, they're able to, Manny and Orion are able to be open with each other.
And like talk alone.
Be talk. And I think that it says that Orion was like a little annoyed by Manny's drug use, but also like it was the drug use that allowed him to get the job done, and also it allowed him to penetrate the colander head.
Right.
And
exactly.
As suspected, Diamond Diego was his plan. It was to, in the crucial moment, he's going to run to Japan, Africa, and China,
right.
and try to, like, while UNow is like trying to spending their energy trying to stabilize SCAUR, the enemies are going to come in and crush them, and then Diamond Diego will be El Presidente.
Exactly. Right.
Something like that.
It also felt to me like going back a little bit, but it felt like if Orion and Manny came there and none of them were like sampling the wares kind of thing, that it would be like almost like weird. Like it would be like almost like sketchy. So like the fact that he was doing a little bit of the blocaine too, it made it a little bit more of a level playing ground. And, you know, if you come in and they ask you to try the local food and you're like, no, thanks. It's kind of like, what the fuck? You don't think it's good enough for you? But, you know,
I'll never
was like, no,
forget,
thank you.
But Temple of Doom. This is more food than these people see in a week. Oh, you can have it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah.
Cool. All right. So
Sweet.
they both agree that Diamond Diego is a piece of shit.
Real drag.
What I have to do all the easier. Okay.
Mhm.
And then we
Raised
repeat
indeed.
yeah.
Raised indeed.
And I feel like, is it zoomed in a little bit? Not really. Oh, it's a smaller panel.
Yeah.
Then okay, great.
All right, so we're back in the glass house of emotion where Ryan and Fadi are chilling, and well, they're not chilling; they're talking. But everything's set. You know, within 7 hours of the date in question, like, you know, things are going kind of according to plan so far. Japan raises their export tariffs. Japan has somehow found out about this trip, and so they've escalated their subliminal messages.
Yeah.
And while they did that, UNow called theirs off, so that when the plan is like going off, no one would be able to be like, oh, look, they're subliminal, they're showing the sublims and trying to get us and stuff right now. So
right. The last half of the last third of the page, or whatever, the last two tiers are dedicated to Africa's nuclear development. And it makes a note that says, you know, that the continent has never led in military strength, and they took the brunt of the war. Remember, we were in the Sahara Desert in God and the Devil. Yeah. That's where the plutonium was. And there's like great. They're just like, anyone that makes advancements in this arms race over there is like blasted to the top. So they're like super motivated to make it happen. So this is just like a pressure that Orion's like, all right, like, we got to get to SCAUR. My guess is that Africa's next issue.
I was going to say the same
thing.
And
and then we'll lead into Japan.
Right. We'll deal with this next issue.
All
right. Turning the page, we get a pretty sweet ad. Like, you know, this is cool. This is like Kamiko ramping it up. This is Kamiko. You know, we've got some books now. We've got books. We've got Grendel. We've got Elementals, Rio, Night Enemy, Ginger Fox, Fish Police.
I don't know if we're at the height of the company right now. Maybe it was.
We're getting there because there's not much longer left.
Well, I mean, I think as Grendel winds down, so too does the half-life of the company.
Right, I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when did they close shop? 92, 91?
Well, I think the original team ends with this book, right?
Right.
At the end of this
run. Yeah. But I mean, also like the big, you know, Rio and Night and the Enemy and Grendel and Mage are like, those are the books. I mean, those are the big premiere books. You know, this painted foil stamped album is like, this is like the biggest thing that they did, I think, besides Matt's projects in my estimation. Like,
I wonder what their highest selling book was. Not one of the manga books, the anime books.
Maybe it was one of the manga books. Maybe it was Mage. Maybe it was Panda Brothers.
Maybe.
I mean, I think that
it was Grendel.
I think Panda's I think it was like $60K on the launch.
For Grendel 1 with them.
For Grendel, yeah, something like that. So that's, I mean, it's a big book for an independent publisher.
It really is.
What the fuck do we? I don't know.
What we know is that moving day sucks. The Elementals are moving to Florida, to Philadelphia.
Yeah, like maybe the Elementals kept them afloat.
It really does.
No,
it has a high print. I mean, there's a lot of issues of that book.
Yeah, it's like a 50 issue. It might get relaunched. I don't know. I do not fuck with the Elementals.
We have to get Jerry up on the show here. All right, so we're back in line here with Sherry and Orion. He's listening to her tummy. He can hear the ocean. And they're talking a little bit like, how's Manny doing? He's okay. He's doing a lot of
his stress. I think the key line here is sometimes I feel like I'm losing myself in the ruler, right. Which is a very it smacks very hard of BLS, of how like Grendel took over that guy's entire life, and Orion is like, this is the road to hell that's been paved in good intentions, and like he's sensing that now it's like he is not himself anymore. Okay, great.
Right. And the only time that he is, and the only place the only refuge he's got is with Sherry, and with the opportunity, or with the the excitement that he's got for this baby, the baby that's
interpersonal intimacy. When you think of how sex kind of sparked Hunter's journey.
True.
And how like guardianship of Stacy kept whatever it's seeded something good in him. This is sort of grounding,
right. And for him, the loss of his sisters too, and then now that was like kind of a strange or like a weird thing, and now he's got a seemingly regular, like a normal relationship that's looking up.
For basically the most powerful human being on the earth, at least he has a regular relationship.
Well, that's a weird way to say it. It is. Who's to say what a regular relationship is? Just the love of one person to another. That's not your sisters.
Yeah. Yes, he has a normal, stable, loving relationship, but he's not a normal, stable person.
No. And he only has that when he's like one-on-one with his significant other.
Okay. So page 13, this is where the trigger gets pulled into SCAUR.
Right.
Presidente is assassinated.
Right. We get a time stamp of June the 13th, 2523.
All right. I really enjoy
on the steps of Rio de Janeiro.
I enjoyed the color coding, the red caption for the newscast.
Right. And they say that in lieu of this event, UNow Broadcasting immediately reestablishes itself as a source of information and advice in the emergency situation as the world looked on in shock. So now the world is looking on in shock, and they're finding the refuge in the information and everything they need in UNow. So now they're looking to UNow as this source of comfort. So
yeah. Yep. The puppet Emilio, the Cracaine head, he's installed as the Presidente. He's the youngest one ever. He's the Madison Cawthorn of SCAUR. And
unfortunately, though,
it doesn't work.
He takes it immediately. He has no idea what he's doing. He's got too much Cracaine up in his body, and he takes it immediately, flounders the nation, and then he begs UNow to save him. And it's like it all fell perfectly into Orion's hands.
Yeah. On page 14, I really enjoy the first two panels. Very beautiful, ultra wide shot of the sword tanks moving. I don't know,
of the UNow tanks, right?
Yes, the Orion sword UNow tanks.
Okay, yeah. Gotcha.
Moving across this like Andes. I don't know where it's supposed to be, but it looks great.
Yes,
killing it, Bernie.
They're moving in, and now Diamond Diego's dead. Drug Fortress burns to the ground in freak accident.
Right. So keep that in your pocket, in your narrative pocket.
Right.
Okay.
So everything is kind of going good for his political ideas. Everything looks good. He's on top looking there. We received word from our operatives in South Diego. In the South, Diego's dead. The mission's accomplished, except for Sherry lost the baby. And Orion just
the mission is still accomplished.
The mission's accomplished, right? But
the
with every
the shit.
Right, with every victory comes like a personal defeat almost.
Yeah, and he is so torn between his global responsibility and his personal grief that he just needs to be left alone. Yep. UNow, the time is now. The difference is you.
right. And so ends that chapter.
Yeah, it's very dense. We both started this conversation like, what'd you think? And we were like, it's very dense. It's very repetitive. The art is amazing. And I think that what we've been finding is that it characterizes Orion very well. So it serves as a historical document. And then also the way that the Tales from the Underground fit inside of the situations it describes. That's the real, that's the gem of this series.
Right. It gives you like the overview, but then also injects you into like the ground level situation. But also I think too, like, and it might be a situation where not everyone gets this opportunity, but I feel like talking about it with you and putting it into words and discussing it like this brings out a whole nother level and makes the comic that much more more fun and more enjoyable to like chat about it.
Yeah, I think reading comics is a pretty, it becomes really interesting when you do it with a friend.
Yeah.
Because it's so, and also this comic is so next level and dense, unlike anything else. You know, if we're talking about an issue of Commandy, you know, you're talking about geometry basically.
Yeah.
You know,
you're still reading
dynamics of
Commandy. Huh?
shapes.
How's that?
I look at Commandy.
I look at the pictures. Yeah.
I like to look at my Commandy. So Tales from the Underground, we also notice, I think they all are titled with nods to Elvis Aaron.
That's right. Don't be cruel.
TCB, very nice. And the shout out on this first page is I was absolutely floored by Bernie's work on the barbed wire. It has so much volume.
Cool. Yeah,
really. I think what's going on here is that it's a mix of dry media and wet media on the highlight. That the line is like maybe Prismacolor white, and then the dots are paint. I think that's what's going on.
It's awesome. And again, here's an instance where the Grendel font and logo that we see on the trade dress is in universe as like the Grendel font.
Oh,
as we've mentioned how before.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And that does that, I think it's different in the first two issues. It's not in trade dress.
Well, because it wasn't officially changed from Caesar's Palace to Grendel's Palace yet.
Oh, that's right. That is
so they used the font from like the films and the
that is I you know that they didn't intend that, but you can absolutely read it that way. It completely works.
They're all fans of the Grendel film series, Grendel the Next Generation, Grendel Deep Space Nine, Grendel Voyager. They like love it.
Grendel Odyssey, Deep Space Nine. Is this I think that the narrative captions are coming from Michael, the character that we're about to meet.
Right, I think so too.
Which is weird because it has the white, but usually orange is Zebra Harriman. I think. We'll see. Okay.
Oh, and they're kind of saying that like they shut down Grendel Palace as like a place for the humans to get there, like to view the vampiric animalness, and it's just
no longer a zoo.
Right, it's a prison. They're saying, and they're just there bidding, and they're like, this money doesn't mean anything as we turn 16. It's like we're just sitting here gambling for no reason. We can't use this money for anything, and he's chatting with this one dude, and then they have to go like basically hunt their food.
So they stay in hotel rooms in the casino.
I think so.
Okay, that I was reading it. I was like, so like, what does their life look like when they're not on the casino floor?
Yeah, like they're just trapped in the casino.
Is sort of in there. There's everything inside. Plus no windows.
But then they're able to get out and hunt for boars to eat off of, and
no. We were confused about this. This is a cutaway.
Oh, this is the other story.
To South America. Yeah, this is confusing.
Gotcha.
This is Zebra and Pellon in South America hunting boar.
Okay.
But the idea, we're introduced to Michael, who's this young vampire who wants to get out, and he knows that people, like, if you have enough juice, like
Pellon does, I think they call him, or the first one. The first one.
Yeah. Then you can find a way to get out. So his mission is that he's tired of all these games, and this aristocrat wants to loan him money to keep gambling, and he's like, fuck it, I gotta get out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Panel 5 here of Michael, that little lip and mouth is very OG Mage to me. It's very early Mage. Matt Wagner style.
On which page? On 17?
17, panel 5. Yeah. Well, sorry, panel 4. Sorry, I thought that glass was So panel 4.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
second tier.
the funny thing is, all these guys are kind of working with the same sensibility.
Right, working together, yeah.
And
Trying to
so
capture.
they're giving
Matt's.
them the synthetic blood, the methadone, basically.
Right, out of this bubbly kind of soda machine.
water cooler,
Water cooler, yeah. And he only got half a glass, and he's like, "It's fucking broken." He's like, "I guess it's broken, so keep going." Okay. And that's when they continue talking, and they're like outside, and he says, "Rape's a common occurrence inside."
But
and you believe that's when they
paired-
just attack people and just suck their blood.
Yeah, I think that when they say rape, it's vampire blood sucking rape, because it's paired with. So Michael eats this like dapper. He's wearing like a, what's it fucking called, like an ascot kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
So he pulls it down, and I think it's that if you're a vampire and you feed on a vampire, you get like an ice cream headache, instant hangover, because it's not, the quality isn't, it's not non-compatible, whatever.
Gotcha.
I thought vampires didn't bleed, and like, right? Like that, isn't that like, so there's some lore confusion.
Right. Okay.
Right? That was like they prick their fingers because if you
bled,
they needed the hemophiliac. So it
well, maybe that's just because the guy was sucking and he kind of like let go and it went everywhere.
Oh, because he'd just been drinking,
just
blood.
Been fed upon. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the defense rests. Okay, great.
Well, next
Michael
page we get the Kamiko hype page. I like it. I like reading Rick Taylor, but it lacks the voice of Diana. It's not the same at all once Diana left.
It's a nice. Why are you behind on your deadlines?
Well, but it has like the fire of Diana. I love that. Her voice is so strong.
Yeah.
Anyway, we also get the ad for this.
The ad for the mask.
Yeah.
If you want a signed mask, it's $100. That's crazy.
That's
think in 1989 money?
That's expensive for them. That's a couple
like
$100.
$250 today.
Yeah. Well, it's probably $100 for the mask. And they go for like $200 to $500 online if they ever surface, which they almost never do.
Yeah, well, that's the limited edition signed one. The regular mask is $35.
Right. Just
still insane. Like I bet a T-shirt, if they were selling T-shirts, they'd be like $12.
I think you're right. Yeah,
$16.
Now, I sure would like to know who's in that costume.
Who's the model? Where
it was filmed, where it was photoed. I'm sure in Norristown somewhere, or maybe Alston, Maine, or Alston, Mass, where this mind game is based.
Oh, yeah. So I think that the risks are a little too slight to be mad.
It can't be Matt. Yeah, it's not Matt.
Now it's funny because the mask, it looks weird.
It's a hard thing to capture.
It looks
not
really
right.
Weird.
Yeah, it's not right.
It's not right. And then also like the rippling on the seam is so strange.
Yeah.
This is the perfect example of something that works as a cartoon and not in real life.
And why I think in the show, he's not just going to have a cowl. He's going to have some sort of variation of a fencing mask that he pulls down. That's like hard.
Interesting.
That's going to have the like eyes over it.
I think that's a good, that's a safe bet for you.
Yeah.
It's just so strange. Like, can you see through it? You think because
can you see at all?
I think what's going on here is that the white part has to be placed under your eye so that there isn't white screen.
Well, but I think it's like screen printed on there. So it's like a t-shirt
which is
print, right,
which is opaque. Right. So that part cannot be over where your
I don't think you can see out of it.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to see.
No. That's crazy, man.
Does it have bandana ties? Like what?
I guess so. Sound off in the comments if you've got one of these. Let us hear a little bit more about this.
Is it like a pantyhose that just pulls over?
Right. Is it stretchy? painstaking detail, highest quality materials.
That's good. Those are always good
That's
things
it,
to
though.
have.
Yeah. Doesn't tell us any more, though. All right. Sound off. We
Okay.
want to know more. If you've
We wanna
got
know
one,
more.
send it to us. Care of Cosmic
Yeah,
Temper.
send us to your $300 mask from 30 years ago. All right.
All right. We continue here and we see this is Diego, right? Welcome
This
to
is
Peru,
Diego.
my friends.
Welcome
It's
to
the
Peru,
same
my
thing
friends.
he says. Yeah.
And
Same
it's,
thing he says to Ryan.
and Pellon and Zebra have hoofed it on foot. They cannot fly. It was tough. They faced water and dew, and I don't know why exactly they are coming down here to fuck with shit,
Right.
to fuck with Orion, basically.
Something's got to be done, even if it means dealing with cattle.
Yeah.
All right. So they go in there and he asks him if he wants a drink or something. He's like, no, I've got this little monkey here to.
I've got a
chew on."
monkey. He's so disgusting.
He's terrible. Yeah. And then we flash back to Michael, who's like, we have a deal then. He's speaking with this dealer who's trying to help get him out of of Caesar's Palace, I guess.
Yep, he's gonna get him out. It's established that they have these like wrist IDs, and so he's gonna trade his wrist ID. So they'll have some black market IDs
So you can
for
scan it
the opportunity to get out. Okay.
Right. All right. And so then I guess he's like, we flash back to Pellon. He's like, I'm impressed. Senior Asante will be here tomorrow. And then, we need to start something in motion. All right. So then we flash back to Michael and he's like, yep, you're going to get this ring. You're going to get this bracelet. Back to Pellon. He's like, we're going to give you 20 million UNow credits if you let us know first of any results or accomplishments of your meeting with Orion Asante.
Okay.
So,
Great.
I mean,
I really love this last panel, how the red smile has its own.
oh yeah, it's
own
very like
influence.
Tim Sale Long Halloween in the future of the Joker kind of thing.
Sure, but I mostly just like the frame.
The
That
frame.
it gets its own panel.
Oh, I see, but it's still like the same face from above.
Right.
Nice job, Tim. All right, we're back to Michael, and he's like, I'll think about it. And he's like, what? So what did he ask him right before this? He said, the ID bracelet, you won't need it once you're out anyway. Oh, he wants him to he gave him, like the guy gave Michael his, and now he wants Michael to give him.
No, the cost of the escape is the bracelet.
Oh, I see.
Because he can use it for whatever black market
Oh yeah, he can sell it off
ID.
to someone else.
He can get somebody else in
To like
or out,
reprogram
or
it, maybe even.
he can fuck with he can fuck with whatever he wants with Michael's bracelet. So the rest of page 20 is Diamond Diego explaining like I don't want to fuck with Asante yet. Like I don't know it, but you're not part. Your 20 million credits is not enough. And guards, let loose the flamethrowers on the scum. Get them, drive them off the grounds.
Right.
Okay.
And we know that they can't do fire. These vampires can't do fire, so they jump out the window and their blood burns off. And he's like, every credit is a drop of your blood, Diego. And so they run away. And now we did learn that it gets burnt down in a freak accident. So maybe that freak accident was done by Pellon.
Yeah, that's the kicker up here. So all right, so Michael decides with this dealer guy that he's gonna trade the bracelet, and then the way he's gonna get them out is they're gonna put him in some kind of a waste dumpster, a waste funnel, and he presents him with this little clear lucite box, and he goes, I know that your totem is a mouse, so you're gonna turn into a mouse and we're gonna float you down the river. Don't worry, it's airtight. Everything will be fine. Great.
Yeah. Why didn't
Get
he
in.
just turn into a mouse and escape through the sewers already?
There's a lot of questions about this. I don't have the answers to.
All right. Well, next page we see Diego. He's relaxing. He's reading of Cocaine and Men, and we see in the jungle,
On his balcony.
Right. On his balcony, we see a wolf and a vulture. I guess that's Pellon and Zebra's.
Those are the totems. Yeah. I don't know if we've seen who's who. It would be really cool if Pellon's totem was a wolf.
Interesting.
I'm pretty sure this is the first time that's ever.
I think so too.
It's ever come up. So they're casing, they're spying on him at night. Now, Diamond Diego is named after the multi-carat diamond prosthetic eye that he wears. Which you can see. Yeah,
you see him like rubbing here.
Rubbing his diamond eye.
That's
It's
cool.
unclear whether that diamond eye can see.
I bet it can. It's the future.
It probably can. So then the
it.
bottom tier is Michael. Michael, come on. I know it's a tight fit, but it's sturdy and watertight.
Hey,
Would I lie to you? He did lie to you. It's not watertight. So
Not
it's
at
like
all.
everyone's playing their own Grendel games to be
Right.
more awful than the next. Okay.
And then in comes Pellon and Zebra, and they're like, Buenas noches, senor.
And this is the moment after the cover.
After the cover. Oh, you're right.
The cover
Don't
is
bother
them-
getting up.
them sneaking up on
Sneaking up on
Diamond
him.
Diego.
Good call.
Now, unfortunately, on the cover, nish Tim, no diamond eyeball. Okay.
Diamond
I think-
eyeball. Oh,
But
you're right.
you know what, Tim, you've entertained me since I was 12 years old. So I'll give you a pass.
He rescinds the niche.
Yeah.
Scared and all alone, Michael drowns. And here we see, oh, yeah, he washes up ashore on the final page. But then we also see this freak accident as the drug place gets burnt to the ground.
Right. There's okay, this I'm confused about. There's this ninja guy.
Yeah, what's going on here?
I think this ninja guy is one of Orion's operatives. I'm not sure. Right. He must be, because he wouldn't be lighting a match if he was a vampire.
Right.
So
He
he's
was
just
like
casing-
probably gonna burn down the place on himself, but instead he saw like Pellon doing all this shit, and he was just like, okay, I'll let things play out.
Mission accomplished. This guy's talking to Fadi.
Yeah. And then he threw the flame in there and burned it down once Pellon and them already killed him.
Okay.
All right. Next issue, The Beast is Loose. Creator and writer Matt Wagner and illustrator Tim Sale continue to drive a stake through your soul in Grendel.
That must be Pellon's.
Yeah, that's definitely Pellon. That's him in his totem form.
I enjoy the tagline here. I enjoy a good tagline because it sort of is a very direct way of the creator telling you like where your mindset needs to be, driving a stake through your soul. I
Yeah.
dig it.
Should we read the preview from the hype page for the next ish?
Well, the big thing, you kind of, you do whatever you want to do. The big thing is here is that in the letter column, they announce Batman Grendel.
Oh yeah, that's huge. Let's talk about that.
Crazy.
Nobody's selling out here. Matt has wanted to write and draw Batman for much of his adult life, and much of this past year found Bob Schreck, Phil Lasorda, and myself negotiating a contract on behalf of Kamiko and Matt with DC Comics for the first intercompany crossover book to hit the market in years. As of this writing, July 1989, Matt has already plotted the 2-issue prestige series and penciled most of the first issue, though no release date has yet been set. And dig it, the crossover features the original Grendel, Hunter Rose, in a historic encounter with Batman. Matt's writing and penciling and inking the project, while Joe Matt is slated to paint it, with Denny O'Neil and yours truly at the editorial helm. Stay tuned to these pages for more deets. Sick. What a huge announcement.
That's crazy. Yeah, and I guess the book came out before Kamiko went under.
It was like right there. It was like it was like one of the last books, I feel like.
Like the last thing they did.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, that's exciting. It's also the return to Hunter. It's the first
one in a while.
Hunter.
First one since those what was it called? The little mini stories.
Oh,
in
that's
between.
right. The novels, the crime novels.
That's right. Yeah.
The diamond industry. So I've never read these issues, these Devil's Reign. They're good, they're dense. We're halfway through. Are there two? We're on 36, 37, 38, 39, and then there's an issue 40 of the ongoing series.
There is, which is a double-sized. And again, as I said, it's been 10, 15 years since I've read them too. So we're kind of both going back through this together, learning what's going on. There's little things I remember, but man, I don't remember the intricacies. So it's exciting. It's fun to be getting back into some unknown territory here with Grendel.
I think the most exciting part is that we're 4 issues away from War Child.
Crazy.
Which is gonna like, you know, these are dense, and the podcast has basically gone bi-weekly during this time.
Right.
I feel like once we get into War Child and Tales,
we'll be back.
Like I feel like we're gonna be recording 2 issues in one sitting, and like they'll be like 35-minute issues, and we'll just move.
I agree. Totally.
We'll see.
Yeah. All right, I guess that's it, Ben. So until next week, Vivat Grendel.
And keep on Grendeling.
Grendeling!